Hey, fellow cosplay engineers, this is Da Vinci again, showing you a different project that I'm working on. I always work on 4 or 5 projects at one time. This is another commission for a client. She wants to get made the Cloud Sword from the movie Advent Children. Great anime movie, awesome. So for a lot of you guys that have been wondering if you can make a decent prop or weapon out of EVA foam, yes you can. I'm going to build this entire sword out of EVA. So that you'll be able to see the steps and how it's done and how good you can make it look with some patience and the right materials. I've already started to cut out some of the pieces ahead of time. Right now I'm going to be cutting out, I don't know if you can see too well, but this section right here, they're like these little circular ridges. I'm going to be cutting those out. And I've already got my pattern going for it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out and with my trusty hot blade cut so you can see how I do it. You can see I'm actually turning the foam as I'm doing this. It's an old trick actually, just simply sticking your blade into the tabletop and actually moving the foam around it. Get you a decent curve cut. And it really works good when you have a heated blade. And you just slowly turn the blade on axis too as you're doing this. And you can see how fast I'm going through this, and I'm actually taking my time to make sure that the circles are neat. Even though I'm still going to do a little touch-up smoothing out with my Dremel. The cleaner your cut is, the less work you gotta do. When you do this, try to make sure you're holding your blade as straight as possible so that you don't get an unwanted slant to your cut. Unless that's what you want intentionally. I'm going to cut the other side, and when I'm done, you guys will see me starting to assemble the sword. Hey folks, okay, so now I am ready. I've cut out both of my pieces, the ridges. Now comes the fun part, putting it all together basically. We're going to go ahead and assemble this first half of the sword. Something that I always try to do before I do any gluing when it's a lot of pieces, I try to actually put them all together first, make my guidelines. This way I know everything's fitting the way it's supposed to fit. Saves you a lot of heartache. When you glue something that's not fitting, then you gotta kill two pieces and recut the whole thing again. So definitely, guys, when you're building something like this, build it in sections, puzzle it all together first, make sure it fits the way it should be, then you glue. Okay, with that said, we'll get started. In case you guys are wondering why I cut the blade like this, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, I've just learned over time, if you just do a simple straight cut against something that's going to be long, unless you're going to do a whole lot of strengthening to it, that could be a weak point and it could actually over time crack or fall or break on you. So if we do a weird pattern or design so it can actually link into, it makes that point not as weak. So if you guys want to do a straight cut, feel free to do your straight cut. You know, it's not something you have to do. It's something that I do. Like I said before, I'm dragging it across the table so that way it keeps the foam from bonding with the glue to the table itself. But also doing it like this here gives me a pretty smooth, not really smooth, but it matches up both planes of the EVA foam. So you don't end up with one piece higher than the other. Don't worry too much when you're working with EVA glue if you have, if you see glue residue on your pieces on the front part of them, because once you go through the sealing process and you seal it up, it's going to cover all of that. Always keep a spare glue stick on your table in your work area. So if you gotta change out glue sticks real quick, you can do that since this stuff dries real fast, or it cools real fast. Okay, for the next piece on the side. Alright, so that's part of the blade so far. Now, of course, I'm still going to use a Dremel, trim down edges, bevel the edges with my Dremels and stuff and my other cutters. But basically, if you look, everything that you see here is here. Alright, so I'm going to cut up some more pieces. I'll get back to you guys in a minute.